So, welcome back to another round of soldering our C64 25407 board. But let me check first the technical setup. Got some dropped frames, and I don't know why. Maybe this stupid USB cam is eating up so much performance. Yeah. Maybe I unplug it shortly. Yeah, it's eating up performance like hell. But whatever, I can't make it any better. Okay, so welcome all to the chat. As usual, it's streamed on Twitch, on YouTube, and it's recorded for later video editing. And today I want to start with the Ferrite Beads. We have like, I think, 22 of them. So some stuff to do. They look like this, and basically it's just a piece of wire surrounded by an body of iron. And just a reminder, those special ones from, I think the vendor is Murata. They announced the end of life announcement of those things, so they are no longer produced. So get the rest of the stocks from the vendors. Okay. Let me check my list. The Ferrite bead are listed at the end. And we have 1 to 5 and 7 to 23. So to be able to cross them off, I'm quickly going to write them down. And by the way, Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome, welcome. So let me put on my magnifying glasses. And get rid of the cable somehow. Okay. So let me unpack some of those. They're really kind of stuck. I could have prepared that, right? But whatever. Let's see how to get them, and we have to bend them because they are all like 5 millimeters. And they have no polarity, so we can just use them. That, put it in, and over, and you have the perfect aligned ferrite beads. Yeah. So let's start with number 1 over here. And again, I'm going to solder 4 at once because I have 4 Blu-Tack glue stuff to hold them in place. So 1, 2, 3. Well, what is the use of a ferrite bead? I'm not absolutely sure, but I think they are used again for filtering some frequencies maybe out of the current. Because you know from physics, if current is flowing through a wire, it's creating a magnetic field, and this ferrite body is also producing a magnetic field, and maybe they counteract or whatever. So now I'm searching for number 4. This is number 5, 7, 8, and so on. Number 4 is over here. And I don't think I have to use Blu-Tack here because they hold in place by themselves. So let's get started with soldering for today. Yay! Ow! I shouldn't touch the just soldered, very hot component. And I really have to get the tip of my soldering iron somehow cleaned up. I just googled a bit and they all say the same. Use a sponge or use metal wool, and I use it already, so maybe I have to find some other stuff. So, welcome to the chat. Yes, in English. Only for this project. So they are fitting very well. Let's move on to the next ones. But first let me cross them off. 1, 2, 3, 4. And get some more from this packaging. Because could also just cut them off this tape, but I can get them off. So it's back to bending again. Oh, my mobile phone died. Let me quickly check what's wrong here. Stupid YouTube app. Okay, now it's live. Okay, number 5. 5 was over here. I'm still waiting for my delivery from the States with the 2 missing parts, the connector, for example, and 1 logic chip. Should arrive, well, next week, I guess. I still have no delivery note. 7, 8, 9. 11. Number 10 is down here. And number 11 up there. Let's switch to this view. No, I will start over here, not to burn myself again. I know the quality of the base cam is really bad. Okay, then we had someone over here. So I hope you had a good start into the new year. People were still doing fireworks outside, but much less than the years before. So the cats didn't freak out this time. We're just a little bit confused. Okay. And now I have to... Number 11, I guess, was the last one. Now let's do 12 to 16 or 17. We had a very delicious raclette with a lot of ingredients. And after eating, I was so tired. But this year, because of the human malware, we had no visitors. So we just did raclette dinner for 2. That was fine. Okay, number 12 is down here. Number 13. Number 14. 15. So if you compare this old board, the long board versus the short board, the later versions, they reduced the amount of ferrite beads drastically. So from 22 they went down to 3. Maybe they found out they're, I don't know, useless or not required, or just replaced the circuitry by something more effective. Oh, there's one between here. And the last two one over here. Okay. So if you choose the right amount of solder, it will flow through the hole to the top side and cover the solder pad quite right. But sometimes I'm using a bit too less solder, but that's okay. There's definitely contact between the part and the board. 17. Okay. And only 6 left. As you can see, I ordered some more just to have some in stock, because as I said before, they are no longer produced by this manufacturer. And I didn't find a replacement yet, but I also did not search very well for a replacement. So this is now useless. I think I ordered like 50, so I have definitely some left. Okay, number 17. So let's search for 18 and so on. 18 is over here. And 19. 20, 21 are over here. And second to last, 22. And the last one over there. They are easy to find on the board because of this big white square. Okay. So let's solder them in. One, two. Three. And I guess the last three are over here. Okay, I guess that's all with the ferrite beads. Except of using the Knipex to get rid of the legs. Just to say it again, one of the best tools ever. How long does it take to build something like that? Well, this is now the third stream. I think the first one was around 2.5 hours. The second one was 1.5 hours. So 5 hours. And now I don't know how long I will need today. But maybe 8 to 10 hours in summary. But you need also time for the preparation. You have to get a decent part list or BOM, bill of materials. You have to order them, you have to sort them, you have to label them maybe. Because if you are not very well prepared, you might solder the wrong part on the wrong place or whatever. So you see, I usually label every bag I get with the destination place, so I can find this quite fast on the board. And not to forget, this is the old version of the C64. It has a lot of more components than the newer ones. So I guess the short board you can solder in less time. And of course it depends on how experienced you are and so on. What do you do when something is not working? Well, I'm going to find out what's wrong. There are a lot of tutorials on how to find errors on such devices. And basically you start with the measuring the current. Do you have 5 volts where 5 volts should be 9 volts or 12 volts? And then I have an oscilloscope to look more in detail into the signal. Is there a way to fault trace? Well, this is a brand new board, so from a factory side there should be no faulty trace at all. If you have an old board, there could be faulty traces, and I guess then it's hard to find them. I have the schematics printed out, so I kind of maybe see there should be signal on pin whatever, and there's no signal. Then I can follow back the traces on the schematics to another point on the board and maybe measure the continuity. And if that's not working, then maybe install a jumper wire or whatever. But I did not have this situation yet. I fixed some boards, but all of them were just broken ICs, broken CPU, broken SID chip, broken clock generator chip, and so on, broken RAM chip. So yeah, but oscilloscope is helping very well to identify what might be wrong. Okay, so let's mark the ferrite bead of the list. The first one I built, the short board, I just turned it on and it was running immediately, so there was nothing wrong with the build. But we will see at the end. It will either work or it will be a black screen, I guess. And if it's a black screen, then it's bad. It needs to be debugged a bit more. If it's just like there are so many common faults on the C64, like scrambled output or wrong colors, or the characters are missing, or the RAM amount is wrong, so you have an idea where to look. And of course, there's the diagnostic cartridge or that test cartridge. That's a thing you can put on the board, and it will try to find out what's wrong on its own. And it says then something like, this RAM module is broken, or the CIA is broken, or the PLA is broken. That's easy if that's working. But if you have a black screen and even the dead test cartridge is not showing anything on the screen, then it's getting a bit more complicated. Okay. But check out my YouTube channel. From time to time, I guess I will upload videos about fixing broken stuff. So the next stuff I want to solder in are the electrolytic capacitors. And we also have a lot of them. But I ordered a lot of more of them because I wanted to have some spare capacitors. Because what you normally do if you get like a 30-year-old device to fix, you will recap, you will replace all the electrolytic capacitors. Because those tend to get leaky over the time. There's a kind of a fluid in there, and the fluid may leak out of the device, but it also means there's a leakage in the current, so that there is flowing current through the capacitor when it should not flow, and that's also leaky. And therefore, people are going to recap those old systems. Just desolder all the capacitors and solder in new ones. So let's go to the capacitors and the electrolytics capacitors. So we need 12 one of those. 10 microfarad, 25 volts. And now I'm going to cut them off directly from this tape, because we either need so long legs three, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Also, this old board has a lot of capacitors. It's like 12 and 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. And the short board, I think, has only like 6 or so left of them. Yeah, so they reduced the cost and complexity a lot. The newer revision of the boards were used in the C64 C model, in this light gray one. Not the old bread bin, but the new one. Okay, so let's start with C8 and C13. And really take care on the electrolytic capacitors, because they have a polarity. You see this white marking, this is the minus side. And really make sure you put it in the right direction on the board. Otherwise, I heard it will just go boom and stinks a lot. So over there is C8, for example, and on the board the plus side is marked. So I will just put it in there. And now I have to work with a bit of blue tack to hold it in a good spot while soldering it, because I want those to be properly installed. But I have to find a better way to do this. This is not This is not, I'm not satisfied. But if I just press it against the capacitor, it might get a bit hot, the blue tech. But let's try. Let's just solder one and see how it works out. So that one needed a lot of heat because it was connected to ground. Oh, I have to take care of all the parts. Okay, let's see how it worked out. Looks good. This one is probably installed. C8 of the list. E13 and 14. Number 13. 14 is down here. And 13 is over there. So the minus goes there. And I also took care when ordering that I chose ones with 5 millimeters. No, it's not 5 millimeters. Or is it 5 millimeters pin distance? So they fit perfectly into the holes, and you don't have to bend around with the legs. Okay, so I guess I will do one by one, just to get it right. C14. Where are you? Oh, down here. Okay, the plus is on the left side, so I have to put it in like this. And again, hold it in place with blue tack. No, I don't use a ground band, and I don't even have a ground band. Because, yeah, I think it's an endless discussion like Linux or Windows or consoles or PCs. It's, yeah, I guess it would make sense, but I never had anything gone broken because of static discharge, so I just don't care. And right now while working on the board, I guess it's not even necessary yet. I think the most fragile components regarding static discharge would be the ICs, and there are none on yet, so yeah, let's see. But I didn't use used it yet when working on other Commodores. C15. C15. I've seen 15 before. Over here, and 17 is just around the corner. There. It's so fascinating. If the solder pad is a circle, the solder is getting round, and if it's a square, it is just creates a square form, because it's so attracted by the copper, I guess. So next one is just right of it. Okay, looks perfect, to be honest. So 15 and 17, now 24. Number 24. Here it is. Polarity check. Okay. Next one is number 34, and I know it's over here. Hello, Meadolf in the YouTube chat. Sorry for responding so late. I'm going to put an original SID into this board. Two reasons. I don't have a replacement SID yet, and I'm quite happy with the original ones. And since I have a working donor board for this one, I will just move the SID chip over. And to be honest, I'm still not convinced about the 100% compatibility. But I guess so many people are using the, what it's called, the ARM SID or whatever, or the Swin SID. Maybe one day I should try them out. But right now this one is getting an original one. I explained it, I guess, in the first or second stream. Of course, I like to use as much new components as possible. So every socket, every capacitor, resistor, whatever is brand new. And I also use for the logic chips new ones. But for the special Commodore chips, I will use the original ones from the board. Yeah. But I guess the SID replacements are working quite well. And also for the short board, there's a replacement for the 7801 clock chip, which is working very good. The PLA is one of the components which breaks the most on the old boards. There's also a very good replacement for that available. But the PLA I have on the old board is still working, so no requirement to replace that either. 75. 75. No, 57. 57. So, where is it? 57. Ah, here it is. Okay, 4 to go. 57, next one is 62, and 62 I guess was over there. Minus. Okay, that one was also very easy. Next one is, what is it, 65. It's down here. Over here. Needs a lot of heat because it's connected to this big trays of ground, I guess, and that needs to be heated up for the solder. Okay. And just 2 to go. 94. That's here. Oh, come on. Where is it? Ah, over here. Okay. And the last one is number 102. And it's down here. Okay. That were all those 10 microfarad electrolytic capacitors. Let's quickly cross them off the list. Okay. But wait, we have 2 more 10 microfarad. And if you are now asking yourself why I do not put the same one like the other ones before in there, if you compare the old one with this one, this one is much smaller in height. So, but it has the same capacity, 10 microfarad. This is because they go in here and you see this copper square box, and there is a frame installed later and a cover, and so there's not so much space available for the capacitor to be this big, and therefore I have chosen those, let's name it low profile capacitors, but they should work fine either. And they have also a polarity. This is the minus side. And on the list it's C107 and 108. And yeah, those 2 ones in here. Let's see if we can get them installed properly. Somewhere around here. There it is. Of course, I could use the other ones and just bend them a bit. But let's try out those ones. Very neat. I hope they will work, because those are only rated for 16 volts, and yeah, it normally should be for 25 volts. So I just hope they will not blow up or whatever. But I'm optimistic, since the whole board is just running on a maximum of 12 volts. That should do it with 16 volts. Okay. Let's cross them off the list. And now we have one left, C91. It's a 100 microfarad, 16 volts. And we need only one. And this one goes to number 91, and I guess it was over there. Okay. Got 3 of the old breadbin boards here. 2 of them show something like 15 volts and one something like 10 volts. Is the repair so simple by just replacing that voltage regulator? Well, I can't tell you for sure, because I wasn't in such situation yet. But I would guess yes, because the voltage regulator should not let out more than 12 volts. But the other one, where you only have 10 volts, well, there's maybe something wrong before the voltage regulator. But 15 volts is definitely too high. Is too high. But be sure you measure on the right pins. I have to put in the voltage regulators here as well soon. Down here and there. This one is the 12 volts one and the 5 volts one. And they have 3 pins, and I didn't look in these specifications yet, but I guess one pin is the output one, and that should be not more than 12 volts or 5 volts. Yeah. And also be sure that the power coming in from the power supply is right. So 91, have done. Now I'm going to remove the legs. Yes, I can do that, because I'm also curious about how the parts work. You know, I'm quite new into electronics at all. I just started like during Corona times because it was boring and I needed a new hobby. And I always wanted to have an C64 again, since my parents threw away my original one. And then I saw, I guess it was on Adrian's Digital Basement YouTube channel, the SixtyClone board, and I immediately started looking into it. So what? I'm just wondering about covered the target on the Twitch chat. I guess it's just nonsense he's writing there, because I do not assault anyone or whatever. So maybe I will just remove that message. I guess I will need a moderator. Yeah. Just talk bullshit. Okay, over here. Okay, I removed all the pins from the board. So just a second. I have to quickly move over to my PC. And I'm back. What an idiot over there. Okay, so what is the thing you use under the motherboard for making it more? That's my self-built Lego Technic frame. So nothing special. And of course, there's no building instruction for it. Just do it for yourself, but it is able to hold that board in every direction, even if the RF modulator is on or the connectors. And you could also turn it like this way or this way. It's just fitting the spaces between. And I have the same frame over here. I can't reach it, which is a bit shorter for the short boards. Because day one I started soldering, I was so frustrated about stuff like lying on the ground, and then you put it turn it around, and then you have the components like the capacitors sticking out, and it's not properly aligned and it's wobbly and whatever. And so I built this frame just to hold the board in place, and enough space below for the components. Yes. Okay. Now we have those ones left. This really ugly big axial electrolytic capacitors. And they are so big and ugly, but I guess they are so big because of the capacity of whatever, 2200 microfarad. And they go C19, for example. C19 is that one. And there you also have take care of the polarity. You have this marking on there, and it's pointing towards the minus connection. So, and plus is over here, so it goes in like this direction. And to be 100% sure, let's have a look at my other SixtyClone board I built. There's only one in there, but yeah, the minus direction is pointing to the minus side. So, but this time I want to get this in there like exactly, and therefore I'm going to try to measure it out. So we have like, what is it, 47 millimeters. So I guess somewhere around here I have to bend it. So I have to bend it here. And if I want to have it pointing that direction, I'm going to bend it like this. So, okay. And then we need the second bend like over here. I guess around here. So let's check out if this is working. Hang on, was the other board one of those short board? Yes, I can show you that again. That is a short board. You see, yeah, it's called short board because it's just shorter. And you can also see it has much less components on it. Just less capacitors, less resistors. They have a lot of more diodes on it, but and less ICs because they combined, like this whole area here is combined into one IC doing the frequency stuff and so on. They combined the PLA and much more logic stuff into this big chip over here. So yeah, this was my first SixtyClone build. Was really funny, and so I'm now kind of addicted to build more ones. And there's a third version available, also a big board, but the revision 254.66, which is yeah, a version between that one and the other one. They, for example, stripped down the 8 DRAM chips to 2 chips, and they already replaced this clock circuitry with the one IC. So maybe I'm going to build that one day also. Okay, now let's go back to this capacitor here. And I guess not so bad. It's not 100% aligned in the middle, but that's okay. So now let me try to fix this somehow with a lot of Bluetech stuff. Yeah, I guess that should work. Okay. Yes, the 2250-425, and I have one of those boards. I bought it on, of course, on eBay, marked as broken, black screen, because I just wanted to try to fix it. And this board is just terrible. It has such a bad solder mask on the bottom, and I'm going to strip this 425 boards. I'm just going to desolder everything because I just don't want to use that board, and I can use the components maybe one day on another project. So yeah, not very happy about the 425 board. So C19 is in here. Let's cross it off the list. But you can find the YouTube video about fixing the 425 board, but it's in German language, because normally this is a German channel. And I had to clean the power switch, I had to replace, I guess, the broken clock chip, and the CPU was, no, the CPU was fine, but the SID chip was not working. There was no sound because there was a short between 2 pins on the audio-video connector. So someone must have messed around with that board before. And yeah, but I was able to find it, all the defective parts. Now let's see, the distance between here and here is the same. I'm glad to meet the English speaking. Yes, I was just thinking that it would be interesting to do this project in English language, because yeah, you normally reach more people when you use English. So yeah, welcome. C90 is 470 microfarad, 50 volts. Goes in there. And again, pointing to that direction. And I guess I can just bend it like the other one, like here. Then measuring. Oh, it looks a bit off. Like so. Let's try. No, I don't find them so expensive. I guess one board is around 37 euros, and you can order. They are produced. Oh, they are produced, of course, I guess in China, but they are sold from the UK. So unfortunately, you have to pay like, I don't know, 18 pounds for shipping costs. So that's very expensive. But yeah, they are sold over Tindy.com. But just Google for SixtyClone, you will find it immediately. This is still not fine. So let me try to bend it a bit better, like over here. Yeah, I'm now using this one, like it is. So I was quite surprised about the low price. I would have guessed that they are much more expensive. But I guess, yeah, producing them in China or somewhere in the Asian region is not so expensive. Maybe it looks, it's maybe from the lighting from above that it is looking so shiny. So if but they are of very, very good quality. Very good solder pads. It's very easy to work with them. So, and Rob Taylor, who did this reverse engineering and now selling the boards, did a very, very good job. Everything is properly labeled, even with the values of the components. Yeah. And those are available in this red color and in black and in this blue color from the shortboard, and I guess in a fancy purple color. But I guess they are not available in green. And I know he is right now working on a board for the VIC-20 Commodore and also for the 1541 floppy disk drive, because there's also a circuit board in there. And now you can get fresh ones as well. But I'm quite happy with my Ultimate cartridge, which emulates a floppy disk drive, and that's so much faster, like the old floppy disks. Okay, C90 is finished. And only one left. And this is 1000 microfarad. I guess those big capacitors are somehow used for the power circuitry, because there's a bridge bridge rectifier in there, and the bridge rectifier, rectifies AC current to DC, and you need normally some kind of capacitors to even more smooth the output after the bridge rectifier. This is very, very interesting if you look at it, at those parts with an oscilloscope, because you can see like the AC current is a sinus, I don't know pronunciation in English, wave, and after the bridge rectifier you have only one part because the other part is cut off. And then if you put in the capacitor, those bumps are even more flattened and so on. So yeah, I guess those are used for that stuff. Because you can see like the traces from the bridge rectifier are somewhere around the capacitors. Hello, Autobully, Happy New Year. I hope you had a good start into 2021. It just can't be more worse than 2020. So perfect, yes. Great. Okay. So people are now all awake. As I said it before, there was a bit of fireworks around here. Even it was kind of forbidden. But it was not so much like the years before. So the cats were quite happy about it. Okay, let's remove those ones. Okay. Now we are finished with all the capacitors, the electrolytic capacitors and the ceramic capacitors. But wait, two are missing, C20 and 21, and those are those foil capacitors. Let me grab them. Those ones here. What kind of solder do you use with this board? Unleaded, yes. When I started soldering earlier in 2020, the last time I soldered before was like 25 years ago. So sometimes back in the old century. And I never took care of what kind of solder wire is available. So I asked a good friend of mine who is a electronics guy, whatever, what solder I should buy, and he told me use this one, but this is an unleaded one and it has a built-in flux stuff, so yeah, it's working very well. So it's lead-free solder wire and it's SNCU 0.7. That's the stuff I use. And that's also the only solder wire I have. Yeah. So let's have a look at those ones. I never used those ones before, and I even don't have an idea if they have a polarity or not. I just know 0.22 microfarad, 100 volts. Foil capacitor. So yeah, I know they go in here, and there are no plus or minus markings on the board, so I guess they have no polarity. And they also don't match the pin layout. That's bad. I hate stuff which is not in the right pin layout. Let me quickly check those things on the old board. So here we have the old board, and I'm now talking about those orange ones on the old board, and I can't see kind of a marking, so I just don't know. I guess I will just solder them in any direction. Yeah. And this is the, this metallic container where those small capacitors have to fit in. Yes, so let's put that to the side. And I would say let's just do the writing to the outside. And now I'm trying to bend those a bit so I can fit them in there a bit, but it's not so easy. I don't want to break anything. Yeah, but I guess it's working that way. So if there's anyone in the chat who has any knowledge about those foil capacitors, just confirm that there's no polarity over here. Okay. That one is looking good. Let's bend the next one. And this one I put the writing to the outside. It looks good, looks exactly like the left one. Yes, yes. Okay, this looks fine. Very good, very good. Now we are finished with all capacitors. So there's not much left if we now look at the list. Let's start on first page. We have to do the transistors and the diodes. And then we go to the other stuff like the connectors and some coils and the crystal and the voltage regulators. But that I'm going to do in another episode, not today. And of course I have to solder an RF modulator replacement again. I have done this for the shortboard. This is this little piece of circuit board here, and I have to build another one so I don't have to move them around from board to board. And then I have to wait for the missing two parts, the connector and I guess one logic chip. And then it's time to power it on, but not today. So I'm going to stop the stream now for today. And thank you very much for joining in. And thank you, Midol, for all the interesting questions you ask. I'm glad I could answer some of them, and I hope I answered them correctly. So yeah, stay tuned. Check out for any announcements when the next stream will start. Have a happy new year. Have a good and safe and healthy 2021. See you next time. Bye-bye.